back to Bachelor Buzz, the best place to come for the latest in Bachelor Nation news and recaps of your favorite reality TV dating show. We're your hosts, Arena
and Julia, and today we are talking about the Fantasy Suites episode for Jen, season 21, The Bachelorette. Oh, yeah, baby. We got sex night to talk about. Oh, I can't say that with a straight face. Yeah, thank you, Zach Shawcross.
Yes, thank you.
Today I am drinking, once again, I just can't stop drinking this peach wine with seltzer water. It's like a spritz, but it's so refreshing. It's kind of like a, what's it called?
Spritzer?
What are those things? Yeah, White Claw. It's like a White Claw, but like healthier because it's not, spiked by the water dilutes it, so whatever. It's just like a little good nighttime drink. It's really summery, so I'm happy to drink it.
Well, I am drinking sparkling water, guys, because I've been tired.
Yeah. We were just talking about how tired we are. Oh,
laying it out there.
School starting.
Mom is just
like,
and I know we talk about this, guys, so moms out there, they're like, oh, tell us something we don't know. But not saying that it's any different from other experiences. Just like, guys, oh my gosh, I've been so tired. My son was sick last week. He just started preschool, so he caught something, which is fine. It happens. But then he was out of preschool because he couldn't go.
Yeah.
And then my husband, he eventually caught it over the weekend.
No.
And it was rough because I spent all day Sunday disinfecting everything on our first floor because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want my daughter to catch it and I don't want to catch it. And then I didn't want to, I was just buying all this stuff too. I was like, okay, let me get him. I usually get a jug of water when he's sick to keep in the room so he can be in there and never have to leave while he's sick.
Yeah.
So I was just here's everything I got out our ice bucket. I was like, here's your ice. I was wearing a mask and I was like, I love you. Just text me what you want to eat. Don't breathe on me.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
So you did not get sick?
Thankfully, I started to get a sore throat for a while there, and I was just, because I was running around so much and doing everything with our daughter, taking her to school every day, and then there are 2 parent functions this week, and, she had cheer, and then, she had all these things she was doing, she does a lot of activities and stuff, and so I didn't really get to rest, and then I had
But that's actually amazing that you didn't get sick, even though you were doing so much. It's just such a cruel joke that moms seem never to get sick. It's like, not only are we taking care of everyone, but now we're taking care of everyone. The husband, all the kids,
Yep.
But all power to you, Arena. Well done.
Thank you.
Holding down the fort and keeping yourself healthy.
Thank you.
It's the best.
And how have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been good. I actually went back to my full-time job this week. I had the summer off and it's cool. Right now we're just preparing for the school year. And it is a lot, using my brain again for all this. It's just it is exhausting me. So I am also quite tired, but I'm hoping to get to bed early tonight. I gotta get back on my real schedule. I'm a night owl, guys. I'll stay up till 2 easily every night, and I really have to push myself to go to bed at 11:30. For me, that's a huge win.
That works for me though when I text you and you respond.
Oh my God, right? I know, I'm always available. But then on the other hand, I'll text you at 7 a.m. and you're like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, wait, oops, you should be asleep. Yeah, actually a night owl and an early bird friendship cross-coastal is actually ideal.
Yes.
That's not a bad thing. So it all worked out for us, right, Arena? Cheers.
It did. Cheers.
But all right, well, should we start talking about the episode?
Oh my goodness, yes. Let's get into it. We're finally here. It's almost the end of the season, guys.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And our top 3. Are we surprised that it's Devin,
we have
Marcus,
Devin, Marcus, and Jonathan. And
Jonathan was a surprise to me. Nothing against Jonathan. I like Jonathan. but they didn't give him a ton of screen time.
Right.
However, we know that's pretty much par for the course for the top three, the third one who leaves. We've seen
Yeah.
it before in other seasons
Mhm.
where people don't get a lot of screen time, but they have a connection with the lead, and we just don't see
And we
enough
aren't
of it.
seeing why. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you don't see why. But I do think that actually, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about him with her this
Do
episode.
tell.
Well, I guess I'll get to it. I mean, do you want to get to that stuff now or should we?
No, let's
Because I
start. I
feel like
guess we'll do our regular chronological order and start with like
we
the
got
cold
it.
open that
True.
came up. Get out
Right.
my notes here, guys. I put it in my phone. Um, uh, okay, so I did not comment on the cold open. I put it in my notes.
I
So
got you, girl.
here you
So,
go.
cold open, Devin. I wrote Devin crying because he doesn't feel like the one. I summarized, guys. This is not exactly what happened, but like he was just really emotional and like saying like, I don't think she like needs me. Maybe she wants me, but I don't know if I'm the one. She's the one
Mhm.
for me, but I don't know if I'm the one. And if I'm not the one, I don't think I can do this, which just made me upset. And okay, so it's the cold open, right? So that
Mhm.
scene is going to happen later on. So we'll kind of come back to it. But anyway, so that's the cold open. He is very upset. He goes to Jen's door, knocks on it,
Yeah.
and he says, "It's probably the end for me." Whew,
Mhm.
what a way to open. Ominous Bachelor.
Mhm.
And then we move on to Jen meeting up with Molly Mesnick, right? Or
Which,
did I
yeah.
skip something?
Well, no, it was Molly Mesnick before. I don't know if this was before or during their conversation, but Jen, I made a note of a comment that she made,
Mm-hmm.
where she says basically that she needs to ask the questions. Can she see a future with the guys when she's talking? When she plans to like talk to them, does she see a future with them? And I was kind of thinking like, well, shouldn't you? And I'm not judging because I've never been in this situation. I've never been the lead of the
Right.
show, but like I feel like, would you already know in your heart if you can see a future with one of these
Mm-hmm.
men by this
Yeah.
point?
At this point, like it's
Yeah,
not the matter of like, oh, I like how they answered that question. Now I can see a future. Like that's not really how it
yeah.
goes. I think that's a good point. Yeah.
No,
No,
it's
I felt, yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I got from her this whole episode of where it's like, I'm not really sure. Let's see what happens. Who can like interest me? Who can I see a future with? And it's like, girl, you're supposed to be past that by now. You're
yeah,
supposed to be like just falling in love with them, just really
hmm,
enjoying time together,
yeah,
becoming deeper, not like, oh, should you be here?
yeah. I felt like
So,
at this point, it was an interesting like question, but like I said, I don't want to put too much into how she's reacting because she's on her journey and it's how she is going through it. And plus, I think she said before she's never really been in love before.
yeah.
So that may be part of it too, is the fact that she has never actually, before we see in this episode, obviously, come right out and said that she loves someone and actually really means it and like knows that this is the love, this is what she's feeling. So maybe that has something to do with it too, that she hadn't really come to that realization for any of these men before the
Yeah.
overnights, because I feel like,
Yeah, I feel
you
like she
know,
didn't sound very confident in any of
it's
them when she was talking to her, you
It's
know?
interesting. Yeah, and with Molly, yeah, when she was talking to Molly, and of course, guys, Molly Mesnick is married to Jason Mesnick, and he was a bachelor. Um, I don't remember what year now, but I almost want to say back in the day, but I
Yeah.
feel like that might be too much.
No,
Um,
definitely. It was like the early aughts.
it was early on, and she was the one that he chose, and they have been
Was
married
it? I thought
now.
he chose someone else and then he chose her.
Oh, was
No?
it? Oh, I think you're right, actually. You are
Yeah,
right, because there's only been one bachelor that actually married the one he chose at the end, and that was
maybe.
Sean Booth.
No, not Sean, but
Or
Sean
not Sean.
Lowe. Sean
Sean
Booth
Lowe,
is
sorry.
no,
Sean Lowe.
no.
He's the only one that's ever done that. So Jason Mesnick and
Sean Lowe.
Ari.
Oh, Ari, yeah,
were the
they
only
were the
ones
ones who got the second
who,
and married them,
yes, and
the
married them.
runner-up.
So they've been together now for a while and they have two children, one of whom is from Jason's first relationship before Molly, and
Uh-huh.
then they had a daughter together. So they have two kids and they're killing it in their business and they're doing really well. And they were both in that episode in Seattle because they live in Washington State.
Yeah,
But she came out and talked to her, which I think was nice. They had someone come who'd been on the show before and who she now knows a lot better after
yeah.
that episode. And I feel like, yeah, when she was talking about the three guys, when Molly asked her, um, I sometimes felt like she was like, yeah,
Yeah.
like,
It didn't seem, like,
yeah,
genuine and, like,
like
really
she believed it.
heartfelt.
Yeah, like I don't
Yeah.
know if she
That is
believed it.
exactly how I felt, Serena, yeah. And, like, we really want to, believe that she's really deeply in a place where she
Of
can get
course.
engaged, but, like,
Yeah.
it was kinda hard to see, and, like, there were a couple when we talk about the, men tell all and, like, the results,
Hmm.
uh, you know, the final or whatever, the rose ceremony of
Yeah.
the Fantasy Suites episode, which was during the Men Tell All. So that'll be our next episode, guys. Keep an eye out. Um, but like I also felt there were a lot of moments there that seemed very just like not genuine and just kind of like
Hmm.
rushed.
Hmm.
So I'm glad actually that you felt that too, because I just felt that. But
Yeah, and like I said, it's not a knock on her. I just think it's like how it has worked out. It's just like
yeah.
there's nothing really you can do about that. It's just really like what this journey is for her.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I don't know. I'm just I know so she starts let's go to Devin. I she starts out with Devin.
Oh my God. Guess where
There
they
you
go,
go.
everyone. A helicopter
Helicopter.
again. I'm
And
sorry. Like, ugh,
champagne.
whatever. Okay. They're in a helicopter. They go over, I guess some volcanoes or something. They
Yeah,
don't really show that much. They
they
just
don't.
show
Them in
them
the
in the
helicopter. Yeah.
helicopter and like, um, he wants to hear that she loves him, but he also says he would wait for her, and she says multiple times like, I love your like unwavering commitment to me and love, like
Hmm.
your love like makes me stronger. She says these things,
Yeah.
and he literally says like, oh yeah, I'll wait for you, I'm here no matter what, I'm here when you're ready, because
Hmm.
like he tells her straight up like, I love you, I'm in love with you.
Yes.
And her response is always just like, "Oh, I wanna get there. Oh, I'm
Hmm.
trying to communicate better,
Yeah.
like, how I feel. Like, thank
Yeah.
you for, kind of waiting for me to communicate better." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Girl, you can only say that so much." And it
Yeah.
got to him, like,
It
he
did.
already was like
He,
you could just see him. He was just like a little, like, shaky leaf. Like,
yeah.
he needed that so bad. And I felt
His,
bad for him, and, like, there were multiple times on their date where he you could just tell he's just, like, craving her to, like, give him something.
yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
really,
And
you
it's,
know?
I know that she said like it's hard for her to really, like you mentioned, to really express herself. And also that she says later on that she's never had that experience where someone is so loving, a partner is so loving towards her and so
Yeah,
supportive of her that she feels like that's also part of why it's hard for her to verbalize how she feels and tell him that she loves him because she needs to accept it and accept how much that he loves her, but she's having trouble accepting that. And for me, at that point in the episode, obviously before what we see later, I was thinking, is it more than just you having trouble accepting it, or is it deep down, it's just not there for him? And and
for
that's
him or for her?
for her
Oh,
to
yeah,
feel love
yeah,
towards him. And like I said, this is
yeah.
before we see later, but I was
Uh,
thinking like, is it
yeah,
that? Is
I
it like,
agree. I mean, we've said it before, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a
yes,
no.
it's a no.
And I'm sorry, Jen, nothing about what you're doing makes me think that you're really, really confident in this. And I just feel bad for Devin because, like, I mean, she was like falling for Sam M. Like, I feel like she would have gotten there with someone like Sam M. If
Mhm.
his true colors weren't showing,
Yeah.
I feel like she would have gotten there. And like, but we have to remember that she is used to toxicity.
Yes.
So maybe for her, the reason she can't get there is because it's missing that like fiery piece, that like
Yeah.
anxiety inducing relationship. But like,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And she knows
Yes.
it. So
Yeah.
maybe she's just waiting for it to like become something that she can call love. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really, I thought it was kind of hard to watch a few times. Like
It
there,
was.
they did go to the fantasy suite. I think they
Mhm.
probably banged. I mean,
Yeah,
she
I do.
mentioned that he's even better than Pete Davidson.
Yeah, and it's like, wait,
My
what?
husband was like, "Whoa,
I
like too much info."
know. Wow.
Okay, Devin. Like we all know what she was referencing there. But,
They
we can sit
definitely.
here and say they look alike all day, but I think she was saying something else.
I think, yeah, I
Uh,
think that they had, they explored each other physically. That sounds so weird and
yeah,
gross, but I feel
yeah.
like they
The
definitely
whole thing
got to
is.
know each other on many levels that night in so many ways. So,
But
and
she still didn't say I love you, and
she
he
did
still
not.
looked dejected when she left. And
Yes.
I just was like, "Ooh, like that would be." I mean, she basically kind of like hit it and quit it for a minute. Like
Well,
he was just
she
like, "You don't
literally
love
was
me."
the one who left. They didn't do it usually where I feel like usually the woman stays and the guy leaves, regardless whether the lead is
Oh,
the man or the
really?
woman. Yeah,
Hmm.
because on Charity season, the guys left and she stayed. And
She like
then
left, yeah.
yeah, she's the one that walked away. And even like in other seasons, like Clayton's season, he was the bachelor, but he's the one who left. And the women stayed where they were. Gabby
Yeah, that
Rachel.
is like nicer.
So I was kind of, I thought it was interesting where it was her, like, and there's nothing to this, guys. I'm just saying I noticed the difference. Like, she was the one walking off with her
That's
bag, like
weird.
her overnight bag.
I think
And, like,
by Marcus's date, she was in a robe and slippers. Like they didn't even try. There was no bag, no
they were like,
outfit.
forget
At
it.
least it wasn't like a walk of shame type
Oh, yeah, no,
situation.
not at
No,
all.
no, not
Yeah.
for our bachelorette. But
No, not Jen.
yeah, that was
Um,
also an interesting choice.
yeah.
But yeah, so poor Devin. I
So,
mean,
yeah.
obviously he's gonna get even more in his head after this.
Yeah, he
So we'll kind of
spirals.
circle back to that.
It goes
He
downhill.
completely spirals.
And I will say
Um
this, though, like,
mhm.
also based on what we see later with her and him, the way that she was saying things during that night of their overnight, when she was saying that she wants to be there, she is trying to lean in to get there. Um, it's all part of what we're talking about. If you're
Mhm.
trying to love someone, like you said, if it's not an, I don't curse guys, it's not an F no or F
Right.
yes. It's
Yeah.
not, it's a no.
It's a
Um,
no. You should
but
be excited and like
yeah,
confident.
yeah, so it's
That's all it
understandable
comes down
that
to.
Devin is feeling so self-conscious because he's been so confident the whole time.
Yeah,
And
because
now,
he's an F yes. He's an all
yeah,
in.
he's like, let's
He's got
go.
no
Buy a
qualms.
house, have a family,
Hmm.
have some kids. Let's go. So, I will say also, so we move on to Jonathan's date,
Yeah.
and her excitement to see Jonathan was a difference from when
Yeah.
she saw Devin
She
for the
was
first time.
like all over him. She called him
Yes.
baby. She was
Mm-hmm.
like snuggling up to him, kissing him and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It was cute.
It was cute. They looked like they were just a couple out on a vacation in
Yeah.
Hawaii. Hawaii. But she
Hawaii.
was like super excited, and it's obvious like with them, there is a physical element there that is palpable.
Yeah.
That she is just so into him, and he's into her physically too, of course. But like she spent that time, they went to a market, they got in the Jeep, they drove to a market at first, and I feel like he said the day was amazing and he's falling and he feels like the idea of potentially falling in love with her. But I thought to myself, didn't he say he was falling for her at the end of his hometown?
Yeah. I think that honestly, like I do think that he was very wishy-washy. And he
Yeah.
talks about this at the Men Tell All.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that he just honestly like didn't really know what he was feeling. I think
Yeah.
he's just saying things.
Yeah.
I think he really likes her. I think that's
Yes.
what it is. I think he's
Yes.
just unsure if he's like falling per se.
Yeah.
Um, but can I say something too about Jonathan's date? Like, I thought it was cute, you know, it looked
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But like, I'll just share with everybody. So like, you know, Devin, helicopter ride. Jonathan, you know, they actually ate a bunch of sweets. That was kind
Mhm.
of like a big thing too. And
Yeah.
he literally was like, I don't like sweets. And she's like, oh, like, you know, they're so good. Try them. You can do one day with sweets or whatever. And then Marcus's date was this like, she was like, I'm so excited to do this. It was like
The
this
difference.
really freaking cool bioluminescent, like, what
Mhm.
is it? Manta rays. They
Yeah, like
swam with
scuba
manta
diving
rays
and yeah.
in bioluminescence. And like, I just felt so bad for the other guys. I'm like, wow, she really took the time to think about something cool for Marcus. And she chose something super redundant for Devin that they've
Mhm.
already done, probably. And
Mm.
then for Jonathan, she chose something. She knows he doesn't eat unhealthily. Like, she knows he likes to eat healthy. And she chose like a little sweet scapade. Like, they literally had like 3 different ice creams or something.
Yeah, it was a
You
lot.
know, and I just like I was a little bit annoyed by that. I was like, "Damn, Jen, like you couldn't have made
Um,
a little more effort."
it
Like,
was obvious that before she even said it, it was obvious Marcus is the one that she was in love, like truly in love
ugh,
with.
I didn't really see it, but I guess you're right. Like,
Like
she
for
always
her,
held a candle for him.
yes, a
Yeah.
100%. And she is so giddy around him. She's a little different with him than the other
Mhm.
guys. And she just was bowled over for him. So it's like, I wasn't surprised that he got like the best, most thoughtful date that was put together because he was the one. And they knew that, which was
Yeah.
funny. And the fact that like
Yeah.
Jesse played golf with Devin and Marcus is interesting. We didn't see
Mm.
footage of him playing with Jonathan. Not that he didn't. We don't
Maybe
know.
Jonathan doesn't play golf.
Exactly. But it's interesting that her final two he played golf with.
My husband was like, "Ooh, golfing in Hawaii. I should
Oh,
have applied."
oh gosh. Well, Joey loves to play golf in
My
Hawaii because
husband
remember he used to
oh
live
yeah.
there
My
and
husband
he loves golf.
loves golf. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, back to Jonathan's date. Like, I thought he was so sweet. You know, again, they talk so much about like you know, their upbringing and like
Yeah, I love
their
that.
thoughts on like culture and like just,
And
you know, being
racing.
open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved
And
it.
me too. That made me really like him. I just feel like
Mhm.
he has a good head on his shoulders. He's
Yeah.
sweet. And like there are other little things he does like throughout this episode in the mental all. Like he ranked his favorite dresses that she wore. That was so cute. And that's like husband stuff. Like I just feel like that's I don't
I think
know.
he really it's interesting because I wonder if he had come out and said, "I love you, Jen,"
Yeah.
would he have been in the final two? I kind of feel like,
Mm,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know because well, the thing is, it's like
If
okay, best of
Marcus wasn't able to open up and
mm,
Jonathan had done that, then
mm. I
maybe.
think Marcus would actually still be there even if that had happened.
Really? Ugh,
Because she's so into Marcus. She is
yeah.
so like even at his hometowns, it was so serious with him. It was so like just so in their feelings. She was so in her feelings. And she wasn't like that with Devin.
Yeah.
Like she enjoyed it. She enjoyed meeting his family. She felt like she could
Yeah.
be with his like be part of his family. And then with Jonathan, she really liked his family too. But with Marcus, it's always so different, I feel like. I'm not saying he's gonna be the one at the end, guys, but I'm saying like it's just she seems so emotionally attached to him
Yeah.
on levels that she's not with the other two. I think that though, if Jonathan had gotten there, it would have switched things up a little bit, of course, because I think she really liked Jonathan and he really likes her. But I think that it was it was something that needed more time. Like if it was out in the real world outside of the show, I think maybe it could have gotten there for sure. But it's this timeline, so just wasn't gonna happen. So let's see. They do their
Yeah.
overnight. They wake up the next morning, and of course, like Jonathan is like, not of course, but he says it's amazing waking up next to her, which is
Yeah.
wonderful to hear. And he says he sees getting down on one knee. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, why didn't you
Like
tell her this
what?
during the overnight?
I know.
Like, why didn't you just voice
He's
it?
just he is not honestly, they're similar, I feel, where they're both
Yes.
like not quite sure of how they're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
not really like saying what needs to be said in the right moments,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Maybe they're
100%.
too similar, you know?
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. And that's why it wasn't gonna last because they are
Yeah.
too similar. Very
Mhm.
good point. I like that. I agree with that.
They are really
So
similar people.
then we go
Yeah,
to Marcus,
Marcus.
and he's playing golf with Jesse first. So we're hearing him
Mhm.
talk, and Jesse's talking to him, and he says, you're an inspiration, and everything that he's been through. And then we go into their one-on-one, their overnight. Marcus meets her over, but like in a marina, and there's a boat, and she is so excited to tell him about
I
this and
mean,
show him about this date.
yes.
She is just like, oh
And
my gosh.
she straight up in the ITM says, I'm
I
in
love
love
him.
with
Marcus.
Marcus.
Yep. Yep. And she can't wait to
What?
tell him.
I can't
Yep.
wait. But
Yeah.
does she tell him? I don't think she actually tells him.
She tells him later in the overnight. Like at the
Do
night
we
portion,
not
I
see
mean.
it?
The night
Yeah.
portion, I mean.
Oh,
Before,
okay.
when they're sitting at the table. She
Wow,
tells
I
him
must
after
have missed
he
that.
talks about basically not being able to tell her the same thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Somebody made a meme where it's like, this man was trying so hard to be sent home. Like, it was so hard to
It was
watch.
hard.
I truly was like, this man is going to leave or tell her that, he has to leave because he's not ready.
It felt like that, right? The
And I felt like
vibe.
she was panicking. She was kind of like, shit, you can
Yeah,
tell, like
yeah,
in her head.
yeah.
And I don't know. I think I totally missed her actually telling him, like, she
She
said, like,
be,
Marcus, I'm in love with you.
yeah, she did it like right after he went through his whole thing about like you're amazing, you're wonderful, and all these other wonderful compliments about her, and basically telling her it's hard for him to say at this point that he's in love. Um, and it was hard for her, obviously, to hear that because we see the expression on her face. And then she says there's many layers and phases to love. And then she tells him, I'm in love with you. And um, I felt like at that moment when she does that, it almost felt like she was the contestant again and he was the
Yep.
lead. And I did
Yeah,
not
no,
like
she
that.
should not have done that.
Did not like it.
She should be chased. That's
Yes,
it.
she deserves to be
She should
chased.
not
She's
be
the one.
like, Jen, if you're only telling one person you're in love with them, why are they here? Why,
It
like,
doesn't
why
make
is
sense.
everyone else here? Why is Jonathan and Devin here?
That's what's interesting, yeah.
That's not
Because
cool.
she was so forthright. Like you said, the ITM, she said it. She kept saying it in the ITMs too, before it even got to that point. And then she tells him he's the only one that she was like, I love him, I love him, I love him. When it got to Devin later, I'm sorry, I know we're not there yet exactly,
It's
but then
okay.
she's like, you silly, like you goofball, like
You
I love
idiot.
you. And it's like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
I think it was like, oh, he's gonna leave if I don't say it. I should say
It
it.
kind of felt
It
like
just
that,
didn't
whether she
seem
realized it or not.
okay. So everyone who's watching on YouTube, hi
Hmm.
y'all, like my red
Hi.
lipstick.
So great.
Um, Thank you. But everyone who's watching, watch my face when Dev. Okay, so we're kind of just skipping ahead to
Let's
the
just
end
do it,
when
guys.
Dev.
Let's get into it.
Whatever though. I mean, literally, we're coming to the end of the episode
Yeah,
anyways. They don't
let's do
show the
it.
rose ceremony, so
Hmm.
so then let's just say it cuts to Devin freaking out again with Jesse, and then he's like, I have to talk to her.
Yeah.
Knocks on the door. He goes in, and he's like, Jen, like I don't even know what he says, but he's like, I don't know if like you really want me here or something, and she makes this face like she kinda did that, one of those, like or he's
Uh-huh.
like, "I don't know if I should be here," and she's kinda like,
Hmm.
almost saying like, "Yeah, I don't know either," or like, "That's a good point, didn't realize you were thinking this," like, I feel like he kind of just was like, "Listen, I'm actually not doing well. that I need to know. And
Mhm.
in her mind, she was like, shit, well, if I say that, you know, I can't get there, he's gonna leave.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna have Marcus and Jonathan, and I don't even know if Marcus is gonna propose.
Mhm.
And I don't want Jonathan to propose because I
Mhm.
don't love him. I'm gonna
Mhm.
send him home,
Mhm.
And then it's like, well, if it's Marcus and Jonathan and Marcus doesn't propose, then I'm
Mhm.
alone. So I need to keep Devin, A, so that these ratings continue and it's a fun show, and B, so I don't end up alone.
Well,
That's what I think she was thinking.
I
What do
feel
you
like
think?
I agree that she was thinking if she doesn't keep him, basically he's the only one at that point said that he loves her.
Mhm.
So he's the only sure thing. Sorry. And we talked about this before, guys. It's not always a bad thing to have a sure thing, okay? It's
Right.
not.
It's okay if it's
But
easy.
I think subconsciously, whether she maybe was consciously thinking this or not, she may have thought, so the man that actually says he loves me, who's all in, who supports me and loves me, is about to leave, then I need to tell him I love him. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that is what came to her. And she was like, he needs to stay. Like, I need him here. Because, yes, she loves Marcus. She's so truly in love with him. But she knows he is not there. He's
No.
not saying it. And honestly, at that point, she must know deep down inside if he's not saying it yet, he's not about to get down on one knee and do it. And that's coming up shortly. And then with Jonathan, neither of them are there. So she
Yeah.
knows he's going home. So I think that subconsciously she was just like, he's the only one that actually loves me. Like, how can
Yep.
you send him? How can he go home? Like, she likes him enough. She likes him a lot. She
Yeah.
really does. And he's the only one that has showered her with all of this, like, I love you. And he said it so much, not just in the overnights, but
And I
before
just, oh,
hometown, he's
yeah.
told her that he loved her. So this has been ongoing. I love you. I love you. I love you. I
He's
support
like
you.
the
I'm here.
steady
I'm the steady, like,
core.
yes. The only one who said,
I
I want to
just
buy
feel
a
bad
house. I
for
want
him.
kids. All of
Yeah.
that. Everything she's ever
Like,
wanted on paper.
I just feel bad for him though, because that's the one thing he was like, what if I
Mm-hmm.
what if, she can't get there with me, but she's telling other guys that she loves them.
Exactly.
And
And she
now he's
did.
watching and he's like,
Whatever happened. Yeah.
cool. Not only is she saying, I'm in love with Marcus,
Yep.
while I'm like crying about our date, but
Mm-hmm.
then she actually tells Marcus and
Yeah.
she planned that cool date. I think I'd be
Yeah.
more upset with her planning a cool date than like her not telling me that she loved me or whatever. Like, I think that I'd be more by like offended by that.
It's
Cause it's like
showing.
you really like the actions. Yeah, exactly. It's
Yes.
like you didn't even try to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just blatantly chose a basic date for me and a
Mm.
really thoughtful date for that other guy. So
Yeah.
whatever.
So I
Anyways,
feel like,
yeah, it's a
after
cliffhanger for that
she
episode.
does
Mhm.
that whole thing and she's like, I love you, and all of that happens. Although that, we saw that in the men tell all guys, but it's part of the story.
Should we let's just continue as though that
Um,
was part of it, right? Can we just talk about the rose ceremony or
yeah, let's talk about the rose ceremony. Let's get to
yeah,
it.
let's just do that.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the mental all like separately.
Yeah. So, like the rose ceremony,
Mhm.
guys, we get to it. It's the three guys. We have Devin, we have Marcus, and we have Jonathan. And sadly, we know Jonathan does not get that rose.
Yeah.
So Jonathan's going home.
Oh,
And Jonathan says, like, he got in his own way. And that,
yes.
it's like he sees now that she's the perfect one for him, but he's not, but he feels so awful that he's not the perfect one for her. And I was thinking to
Yeah.
myself, dude, like, don't rush it. If you weren't feeling it, that is okay because it wasn't meant to be. And if you're not the perfect one for her, then that means you weren't meant to be together.
Right. She's
Period.
not the perfect one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really bothered by their little breakup because, like,
Mhm.
I think she said to him, like, "How are you doing?" Like, right away, and it's like, "Not good, Jen, not good." And then at the end, I wrote down, like, then he goes into, like, "Oh, I actually realized last night I am in love with you." Like, it's so crazy, like, you're the only one that I wanna be with.
Hmm.
Too little, too late, I get it.
Yeah.
And like she was like, yeah. But I just felt like there was a point where he was like talking to her and like it showed her and she was just like looking up, like just kind of like she looked bored or like she was looking for the limo or the car to come up. And like at the very end, when they kind of finished talking, she either said, "You good?" or "Ready?" And he was like, "Not really."
I'm
Like he
sorry.
was just like, "No." And I just feel like she was just not at all, I don't know. Like Jen bothered me a lot this whole episode. Like
She
I just feel like she wasn't that thoughtful or genuine. Like I feel like she was just kind of like, "All right, can you go?" She literally was like, "Okay, bye," and like closed the door on him. And it's like it
I
seemed like no emotion.
I think like maybe for her, she's maybe someone who once it's done, it's done. And even if she really cared about the person before that, she's like, okay, bye. And maybe that's part of her way of
Maybe.
not being as emotional
That's
and not
true.
showing it,
Probably
that
like a
she's
trauma
just like,
response.
yeah,
Mhm.
just like, okay, I'll see, bye. Like, that's it. Because I feel like she really did care about him before, but
Yeah.
once she knew it wasn't him, all her energy now has gone into not just Marcus and probably hoping amongst hope that he says that he loves her and
Yeah.
proposes to her, but also into Devin in the sense that Devin loves her 100%. He's all in. So, yeah, I can get there with Devin. It can be with Devin. Like, so all her energy has
Right.
gone into these two. And so Jonathan, it's like, okay, that door is
Made
closed.
my
Oh,
decision.
yeah, bye.
Bye. Oh,
And so it's off he goes.
yeah.
And I just feel, I don't know, like, what do you, okay, I really want to talk about, like, what do you think is going to happen
Mm.
next week? What is
He
happening?
literally says,
I
I don't
have the
know if I can
theories.
give this rose to you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I can let you propose to me.
I think, right. I think that she's gonna find out that Marcus won't propose. He's
Mm-hmm.
not ready. And then she's gonna have Devin come up and she's gonna be like, listen, like, it's not you. I don't know. That's my prediction. What do you think?
Oh gosh, I have two.
Okay.
So my one is also like agreeing with you. I don't think she ends up with either of them, and this is her journey, and she just has more in her life to do and see and meet other guys to find her one, and that this was just really a good experience for her though, that helped her because she did feel love. And she said she hadn't had that experience really before to really actually love someone. So now she has, and that is invaluable. So I feel like it's either going to get down to yes, she realizes that Marcus is not proposing to you. And two, Devin may love you, but do you love him the way that he loves you? Are you in love
Right.
with him? Or
Are
do you
you
just
just like
love how he makes you
desperate?
feel and
Yeah.
you love that he'll always be there? And you realize that you can't bring him in along this ride for an engagement knowing that he is way more into it
Yeah.
than you are. That's my first theory. My second theory is she does realize that Marcus is not going to propose because he does not love her. And, but she's like, you know what? Devin's really awesome. I can get there. He loves me. He supports me. He wants all the things I've ever wanted. Um, I'm not going to let him propose to me. And I think this is like what you said. I'm going to propose to him, but for somehow, even if it's not that, somehow they get engaged.
Oh, okay.
And whether they're still together or not, I don't know. That I can't go too far
Mm.
past. But the show itself, the episode,
Yeah. I
they
mean,
get
I think
engaged.
his like activity on
Looks
Instagram,
sad.
it just seems really salty and just
Yes.
like,
Hmm.
you
But that's what
know,
I'm thinking. Like, if they do
and
get engaged, they're not still
she's been doing a
together.
lot of thirst traps.
She has
Sorry.
been, guys. Okay, but this is why it kind of goes with my theory that, like, even
Uh-huh.
if they get engaged at the end with Devin, it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah. That could really
So,
be it.
but I don't know because they keep saying something
Maybe she
happens
found
that's
out
never
about
happened. Yeah,
his
so I don't know.
Instagram activity.
So we'll
But
see,
okay.
guys. I'm actually really
Yeah.
like, I'm really like excited to see it and to see like actually what happens because this has been, I don't know, it's been an interesting season for sure. And
Yeah.
I feel like Jen deserves so much and she deserves the right guy for her and to be so happy. And I don't know. It's such an interesting season in that way. It's definitely different from
Yeah.
the past two.
Charity.
So, Charity and
Yeah.
Joey.
I
So,
hope that it turns out well and that she's
and Zach
happy.
actually. So, yeah. But you know what? Like I said, whatever is her journey is meant to be. And she said that it worked out the way it was meant to for her, like when she did interviews. So, either way, I'm happy for her because she learned something, whatever it is, and whatever happens. And whatever happens, she will have the one she's meant to be with, whoever that is meant to be. And I kind of feel like I'm saying it like sadly, like this is, but I don't know, and I don't feel like we're the only ones who feel this way because I've like heard some other podcasts and there's a lot of people that are just kind of like, this is
Yeah. It's just like
interesting.
not, it's like sad to see that, the guy that she's the most jazzed about,
Yeah.
like, doesn't seem that excited
He's
to be
not.
with
He doesn't
her.
love her. And it's not,
No.
and he said he's
That's really what
trying, but
it
you
is.
can't try. You can't be
No.
like, I'm
He just
trying to get
has he
there.
has the one thing that he can try about is just breaking down his own walls. That doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
That doesn't happen
Yes.
in a fantasy suite.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Definitely doesn't happen on, national
Yeah.
television.
Yeah. That needs to be worked
So
on
it's
for sure.
like he's just kind of not in the right place. And like again, it kind of makes you wonder why the producers would choose this dude who has such trauma and like personal
Yes.
issues
Yes.
that he's not worked through
Yes.
and try
That's
and set
the
them
thing.
up with our sweet Jen.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like people can have issues and have trauma because we all have our issues. But when
Yeah,
you
it's okay.
cast
It's
this
not to say
show,
they can't be on it, but they need to have done the work to be
yes,
able to be with somebody.
cast people who have done the work already because
Yeah.
otherwise you're not going to end up with a great season because you don't know if you're casting that person, you're thinking the lead could be into them. So why don't you think down the road and think, oh wow, they could really actually be the one at the end or one of the top two. So don't choose someone who may not be ready. Like, and this is
Yeah.
not a knock to him, this is just like he needs the time.
Yeah.
And that also would help him understanding whether he loved her or not, I feel like.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah. So that's pretty much, I don't know, did we miss
I think
something?
that's it. No,
Yeah.
I definitely didn't
So,
write anything else.
alrighty. I don't
Um,
either. So, let's, thanks guys for listening to this recap of the overnights. We do have the season finale and after the
wait,
final rose next week.
yes. Wait,
So,
I have to say I did write one thing.
oh, what?
I'm sorry. This is
No.
about Marcus. Did
Yeah.
anyone hear him say how when she was like, "Oh, should we go to the fantasy suite?" And he's like, "I think that would be
Oh my
beneficial."
gosh, that's right. I forgot. Yes, that stuck out
That
to
was such
me.
a weird
That
answer.
stuck out to me. He
That
said
was
it
so
twice. He
strange.
used that word
Like, "Oh,
twice.
don't act too excited."
Beneficial? What is this? Is this a meeting? Is
Beneficial?
this a work meeting? Is
Yeah,
this at the corporate boardroom?
honey.
Could be very beneficial. I think that we should do that merger. I don't know. What?
Beneficial for both companies.
Yes, to
Anyways, I just had to
leverage.
like I just glanced at my notes and I saw the very last thing I wrote, beneficial, and I was like, that was a strange moment. Let's
Yes, it
talk
was.
about that. But
Oh
okay,
my gosh. I'm so
that's
glad you
it.
brought that up
Just
because
had
I
to finish
forgot.
that up.
And
Yeah.
that
It
totally.
was, beneficial that I brought it up.
Yes.
One last
Extremely
laugh before
beneficial.
we close out this episode.
Yes. Thank you so much for being so beneficial to this
Welcome.
podcast.
It
I
was
don't know.
very beneficial. Very
Yeah.
demure, very
Yes.
beneficial. But
So,
okay,
guys, yeah.
that's a
So,
wrap.
here
Yeah.
we go.
Let's
Bye,
move
guys.
on. We'll see you soon.
So,
We're
we
gonna
will
do the
see
men
you
tell
soon,
all.
guys. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.